Today on our 2018 Toyota Highlander, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56217. So here's what our wiring is going to look like once it's fully installed. It's going to provide us with a 4-pole flat trailer connector, giving us all the required lights to get down the road safely and within the law, such as our brake lights, turn signals, and our tail lights. Whenever we're not towing, our wiring is going to stay on the inside of our car. Now, we're not going to have to worry about any damage to our wire because the weather stripping here is going to provide enough cushion to where the hatch closing will not cause any damage, so long as we stay away from the latch itself. We can just take our wiring, wrap it up, lift up on the floor covering under here, and we can store it right by our spare tire tools. Now, our wiring kit is a specific kit made for our Highlander. It's going to be a pretty straightforward installation. We're only going to have a few panels on the inside of our car that we're going to have to take off and a few connections to make. Our kit is going to come with all the necessary fuses and hardware to get everything in place, and we're not going to have to worry about cutting or splicing into any of our factory wiring. So now that we've seen the end result and know where our wiring is going to stay, let's show you how to get it installed. To begin our installation, you're going to want to come to your rear hatch, and we're going to take any kind of floor coverings like this mat, and we're going to fold them out of the way so that we can get access to the very back section here. Now we're going to lift up on this panel, and we are going to remove it for now and set it aside. Now the plastic cover panel over here on the driver's side, we're going to remove as well. And that's going to give us access to this panel and compartment right here. Now it's held in by clips, so if we just grab the edge right here and pull up, it'll pop out of the clips, and we can remove it and set it aside. Now towards the front, right where our spare tire tools are, we're going to have this carpet covering on the floor, and we're going to remove these push pin fasteners. So you're going to grab a flathead screwdriver or a trim panel tool, and we're just going to pop them out. Now there's going to be a total of 7 of these spanning across the back of the vehicle. Now all the way over on the driver's side, there is going to be a 10mm nut holding that plastic panel with our spare tire tools in place. So you're going to want to grab a 10mm socket and pull that nut out. Now the panel is only held in with clips now, so we're going to start here over on the side, and we're going to slowly work our way to the other side of the vehicle. Just want to grab the panel and start pulling upwards, which is going to release the clips. And then once we have it loose, we'll pull it out and set it aside. So now if we grab our wiring harness, it is going to be 2 separate pieces. So we're going to start with the side that has our converter box attached to it. If we come to the very back of the vehicle, we're going to be looking for a connector that's going to match the one that's on our wiring harness. So just towards the driver's side from the center at the very back of the threshold, we will have that connector right here. So we can take our harness, we're going to go ahead and plug it in. You want to make sure it locks in, so give it a nice quick tug, make sure everything's in place. And then now we're going to need to find a suitable spot for our ground wire. Now we can mount our ground wire here with the eyelet on it on any existing ground, or we can take the provided self-tapping screw and screw it directly into some sheet metal. Now since all of this is going to be covered up, and we're not going to have to worry about seeing anything, I'm going to take this provided self-tapping screw and screw it directly into the sheet metal on the bottom of the trunk. Now just downstream a little bit on our harness, we will have a fuse holder, so we can take the large provided 10-amp fuse and go ahead and put it in our fuse holder. Now that we have room, we don't have to worry about anything interfering. We'll go ahead and put it in now. And with our fuse and our ground in place, we can go ahead and find a suitable spot to mount our converter box. Now, typically you want to stay away from anywhere that's going to interfere, that we know where our panels are going to go. Like, we know that our panel over here is going to mount to that stud because that's where we took our bolt out. So right here wouldn't be an ideal spot. So I'm going to take the provided double-sided foam tape. I'm going to remove the backing off of one side. I'm going to push it firmly against the back of the converter box. And once I'm sure that it's nice and adhered to it, I can go ahead and take the other side of the backing off. And I'm actually just going to kind of move some of this wiring out of the way. And I'm going to stick my converter box directly against the back of the frame here so it's nice and out of the way. And then I can take my wires and tie them to some existing wiring back here so they won't be in the way of the panels either. So with this side secure and connected, we can go and grab the other end of our harness and start making that connection. Now the other end of our harness is going to have a 4-pin connector, which is just going to be just to the right about the center of where our threshold is. So we can take our 2 connectors and plug them together, making sure they lock into place. And to make it easy on myself, that I know that I have room on the driver's side to route my wires up, I'm going to take my wires, I'm going to route them over to the driver's side and just secure them with some zip ties against the existing wiring back here. So with the wiring in place back here, we can start working on putting the panels back in. Just want to make sure that the carpet covering is on top of our spare tire tool compartment when we go to put it back in. Just line up those tabs and press it back into place. And start putting all those push pins back in. You're going to replace that 10mm nut holding the panel down. Now before we put this compartment back in, you're going to want to grab your 4-pole wiring and you're going to want to bring it towards the center of where your spare tire tools are so we don't lose it down there and we don't cause any damage. You're also just going to want to watch the push pins on where your wire is landing because you don't want to push those directly into the wire. Now that most of everything's put back away here, let's go ahead and move under the hood because we're going to have to put a fuse in place. Now if we come under the hood, right in front of our brake reservoir, all the way on the driver's side, we'll have our fuse panel. So if we push this tab here, we can lift up and remove the cover. And we're going to be looking for the towing fuse that's going to be on our cover, and it should have a little legend to let us know where it is. So if we come down to our fuses, the towing fuse is going to be right here, all the way to the left, but in the black section in between these 2 7.5 amp fuses. So we can take the provided 10 amp fuse that they give us in our kit, and we're going to put it right in that spot and press it down into place. So we can go ahead and replace our cover. Well, let's go back to the back so I can take the included dust cap cover, cover up the wiring, and it'll sit right back here with my spare tire tools waiting for me whenever we're ready to hook up to our trailer. We'll put all of our floor coverings back in place and test the wiring. So I got my 4-pole tester here, so I'm going to plug it in and we can check the wiring. Now if you need one of these 4-pole testers, you can pick one up on our website using part number I26. So I'm going to grab an extra set of hands, they'll run the lights, and I'll verify that they're all working. Can I have the headlights please? Looks good. Left turn signal. Right turn signal. The brakes. Good. And can I get the brakes in both turn signals please? Alright, with everything looking good, we're ready to hook up to our trailer and hit the road. And that'll finish up your look at the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56217 on our 2018.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com. And leave us a comment if you have any questions.